It's episode 70 of the Rebel Scum podcast. I'm James.
I'm Brock.
Thanks so much for tuning in. It means a lot to these two guys right here. We love talking Star Wars. We'll love talking Star Wars with you. 70 long weeks.
Wow.
We are, our 72nd week will be the week of The Last Jedi.
The 72nd?
Yeah, because
wow,
next week
2 weeks away.
Right, 2 weeks. We are 2 weeks. We're 15 days away from watching the.
It's a mere fortnight.
It's a fortnight. We are a fortnight away from the last. I can't believe it. Yesterday, on the 16 days away from the release, Ryan Johnson took over Twitter for a little while, and his favorite type of pie is apple pie. That was one of the questions that he answered. They really pick him over there.
He's a good old American boy.
He likes his apple. I love apple pie too. Yeah. If you had to choose a pie, what pie would you choose?
Pumpkin.
Wow.
I like apple too, but like pumpkin is. I would go pumpkin, but I feel like I would hate myself after like a year of it.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, I think if I had to go a year, I'd probably go apple. But I love a blueberry pie.
I will say that I am rocking the apple pies at fast food places recently. A&W has an amazing one because it's like covered in cinnamon. I usually eat it as I'm driving. This is the life I lead.
This is it, guys. We want to tell you there is 2 weeks to go, and we've got some really kind of exciting stuff coming up on the channel.
Wow.
Leading up to it, starting December 1st, which is Friday, unless you're a Patreon, which we'll get into a little bit. That would be Thursday, but if on Friday on the channel, every single day until December 14th, well, 15th, really.
Yeah.
We'll have it on 15th. We're going to have a new video on the channel every single day. Some days we will have multiple videos. The closer we get to it, the closer we get to it, we're going to have it. We also have our Last Jedi contest. If you have not submitted your predictions for Last Jedi, do so. It ends on Monday, December 4th. What it is look at the comments below or go to our Facebook page, Facebook.com/Rebel Scum Podcast, and all the information is there. Basically, what you want to do is you want to tell us in 200 words or less what you think is going to happen in The Last Jedi, and whoever has it the closest will win.
Wow. What will they win, James?
They're going to win a Rebel Scum podcast t-shirt and 2 Star Wars related books.
And bragging rights to people that do not know what this is.
It's true. Maybe we'll even have you on Flying Casual talk about how you came up with such a crazy prediction. And on Tuesday, December 5th, there will be a Scavenger Scum where we will read some of your theories on air. Some of your predictions will be read on Scavenger Scum on Tuesday. We're also on December 11th. They're having our second Duel of the Fates. And I did 2 live streams with Rob and Josh earlier today.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
They hate each other. They hate each other.
They're for blood.
They're butting heads right now. That's going to be a lot of fun. But it's going to be a lot of fun on the channel for the next 2 weeks.
Wow, it's going to be a content extravaganza.
I'm already exhausted.
And I am going to be in as few videos as videos.
Well, you're going to be... you're going to be...
I'll be in things. Yeah.
You're going to be... Well, you are going to review the Luke Skywalker book.
Correct.
With Andrew. And you're going to make your debut appearance on Vote of No Confidence.
Yes.
I have not been on that either. I do not like Rob or Andrew.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We haven't.
Yeah. So you'll make your debut on that one as well. We won't say which episode, but that will come out later on.
It'll be the one about porgs. I don't know. What are we talking about? Who cares? I just sit down and we hit record.
But anyway, I did 2 weeks. Ryan Johnson on Twitter yesterday. Also did a Facebook Live event yesterday. He's been all over. Daisy Ridley was on Good Morning America, and Regis and Kathy Lee, whatever that show's called now. I have no idea what it is.
Regis
and
Kathy Lee.
I don't know what it's called. And then John Boyega was on those 2 shows today as well. They're real. And Daisy Ridley was on Jimmy Fallon last night.
Yeah.
And Friday on Jimmy Kimmel. The whole cast is going to be on.
Wow.
I imagine the crew as well. The entire crew. All 400 of them. It's going to be the whole cast will be on
Best
there.
boy.
And apparently...
Gaffer.
I guess that's when we're going to see our very first clip from The Last Jedi. It'll be on Friday, December 1st. On Jimmy Kimmel Live. We haven't seen a clip.
I see. Yeah.
So stay tuned. So I know that there are some of you waiting for that to drop before submitting your predictions. But... please submit them all you want. And like I said, you will have them read on Scavenger. Well, portions of them. They might not be the whole thing because we don't want it to be a 400-hour long show. But it'll be fun. And that's really what we got going on.
Sweet. That sounds fantastico.
Like I said, it's going to be exhausting, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Excited for Star Wars. Cannot wait.
When is the actual premiere for Star Wars?
I believe it's Friday, December 8th, I read.
So a week from this Friday.
Yes, a week from this Friday.
Is that just the one in LA, or like, do we have one in Toronto?
Last year we had it on this Wednesday before. I haven't heard anything this year.
I asked because a colleague of mine at work, who's a fan of the show, to the point that I bought a shirt with my face on it, asked if we were going to the premiere, if we had like media accreditation. And I was like, huh. That's smart.
I have looked into it, but I couldn't figure out how to do it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And we already got our tickets.
We have it. Well, we go twice.
Yeah.
But we're going to the fan event. We're going to get Topps trading cards, popcorn.
I'm excited about the Topps.
You are. I think somebody on the live stream today actually said that he sketched some of them. Somebody went commenting on it.
Oh, I thought they were all pictures. Interesting.
No,
I would like to know where you can buy those. Like because they did that for the last one too, and I've never seen them in a store. And I frequent nerd depositories.
You do. You were just there earlier today.
I was.
Or yesterday. Yeah.
And today.
I have no idea. I can't wait though. We're going to, and the other thing is we are going to do a review of the movie. That will be, I think that's going to be our 71st episode of, oh no, that won't be. That'll be a special. But we're going to do it right after we watch the movie. We're going to do a review, so we can also, follow the Rebel Scum podcast on Instagram because me, Brock, Rob, and Aaron will be giving reactions on Instagram, those 1 minute stories.
Yep.
Right after the movie.
Sweet.
We're going to do it right there. And then Andrew is watching it on Saturday, and he will give his on Instagram. I have to teach him how to use Instagram. Cool. But he will do it on Instagram on Saturday. So follow us on there just for that, if anything else.
And send us your reactions.
Yeah, totally. We'll do a whole episode where we just show your reactions.
Yeah, on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, put tag us in it. Yeah. Is that how you do? Tag us in it and we'll see it. Yeah.
Email them to us,
That'd be great, actually. That's an idea that was just formulated right now.
No, but seriously.
Happening.
I would definitely love it.
We're in the room where it happened. That's from Hamilton.
We got a couple cool things coming up at the end of the year as well. Our year in review show and our ranking Star Wars special.
Yes.
I love ranking Star Wars. I love it so much because everybody hates where everything shows up. Last year, Rob doesn't watch the show, so I'm going to say it. Last year, after we were done, Rob was so mad at the order. I swear he was going to quit the podcast. He was like, no.
I was in the room and I don't even remember that.
No, it wasn't in the room when we left. He's like, I can't believe what Empire was number 2 or 3 or whatever it was. And look, it's fun. So I'll just explain right now quickly before we get into the show. The way the rankings work is there are 9 Star Wars films now. When we do this, there will be 9. Yeah. And so we're going to rank them 1 through 9. And there'll be a point system. So whatever gets ranked first will get 9 points to 8 points. So really, if I pick Jedi 1, but you pick it 3, and everybody else picks it 1, but you have Empire 1, everybody has Empire 2.
Is it like 1 has 9 points, and then 2 is 8? Yeah.
So really, it's really strange. And the one that really flipped it all on its head last year was when we got Fatty Fan Theories. His order was off the charts.
We should throw Josh in the mix then.
Josh, Aaron, and Fatty Fan Theories.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
gotcha.
It'll be all of it. So there are more.
I don't read the emails.
But it'll be enough of us that it almost won't matter individually now, which I think is fun too.
Yeah, no, the more people, the better, I think. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Ooh. So that should be fun. We'll do it the round table, it'll be a special like that. So that's a lot of fun. Let's move on to the show now. Somebody's going to...
This is the Star Wars show. It's not your Star Wars show. Okay.
So I don't watch Game of Thrones, Battlestar Galactica, or...
South Park.
So I don't watch anything necessarily. So Brock, can you, as someone who's a huge Game of Thrones fan, and the thing with Game of Thrones is it's influential in media, right? Everybody loves Game of Thrones.
It's the thing to watch. So in the last couple of years,
can you see Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams taking pieces of Game of Thrones, Battlestar, those type of things, and incorporating them into the Star Wars universe?
Possibly. I don't know. I don't know if we'll see anything like this in the current trilogy, but perhaps in the next one with what Rian Johnson's working on. There's similarities, right? Because they're both universes and they're massive. There's just tons of characters. The difference between Game of Thrones is they throw so many characters at you all at once, and you have to kind of remember it to get the plot going because there's so many houses and groups and factions. in Star Wars, it's like these are the good guys and these are the bad guys, and there's a couple gray areas. Like, well, this guy's a bounty hunter, so he's not really good or bad. He's just for himself.
Wait, can I side Akbar for a second?
Yep.
I was playing Battlefront earlier.
Okay.
And I was a droid fighting against the clone troopers on Kashyyyk.
Okay.
And Boba Fett was on my team. And I thought that was strange.
Is that just because of how it all works out? Like, you know how you could have like Darth Maul on the
Luke is on the clone trooper side.
Right.
But it was weird that Boba Fett wasn't on, because he is one of those guys.
Oh, I get what you're saying. But like Boba Fett still falls under the bad guy list.
Yeah, he's the bad guy list,
And the droids, But that's what I mean. Like, it's, even though you had like the droids, you had the clones, you have the Empire, you have the Resistance, the Rebellion, the whatever, you still understood like who is good and who is bad. The thing about Game of Thrones is a lot of backstabbing on everyone's part, and that's why it's so entrancing about it, because like you never know what's going to happen. I mean, it kills off, spoiler. No, it's 7 years, in the first season, and it's part of the book. They kill off like their main character in the first
I saw that
series.
Season.
Yeah, which is like especially in the book. That's why like it's a great television show, because even though it's off the book now because it's gone past what has been written, it still maintains. It feels like you're watching what could be in the book, because things just flip, and it's based on like the War of the Roses, right? Where like warring factions and families were just going back and forth. It's like, I'm on your side, but then when I have an opportunity to seize more power, I'll throw you by the wayside. You don't really see that in Star Wars per se.
Could you see that being like a Snoke Kylo type storyline?
Perhaps. I mean, I don't know if it would be a comparison. I'm interested in what you're saying here, because there's always a massive battle where it's like, well, this is going to decide everything. So, but what I would be interested in is when they make the Star Wars live action show, will it try to follow not so much the plot synopsis of Game of Thrones, but be as entrancing as that, where it's, I guess Walking Dead is kind of the same thing. It just depends if you like Walking Dead. I would argue Game of Thrones is much more massive of a show than Walking Dead, but it has a huge following, because Walking Dead was the first show that had an after show, Talking Dead. And
no, I think it was Breaking Bad first, wasn't it?
Not sure.
Talking Bad?
But it was like Talking Dead, Walking Dead, like that little rhyming thing. And
fine, you're right.
But I mean, it's not the first time they've done that, but like the recent rise of that, because like Game of Thrones has something like that on HBO. I never see it, but I see it on the streaming, or TMN Go here, or HBO Go in the States. And like Stranger Things just put out their thing on Netflix, which is weird because you can watch it all at once.
I know.
But again, like,
that came out like a week later too, I think.
Like, we're living in a fun renaissance of TV where like fans want more. They want more and more content. And I think that's like the YouTube sort of like generation, social media, where we just want more and more and more. Like, look at us. We're like, well, to be relevant, we have to keep putting stuff out. Yeah. There could have been, if we just did this podcast, there's a chance that people would have been like, yeah, that's fine. But, we want more hits and blah, 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 whatever. And we want people to be more engaged by what we do. But yeah, I think I would compare the Star Wars show more to Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
Even though that's sort of an old show now, like, if that is engaging enough without a Star Wars budget or a Lucasfilm budget or Disney budget behind it, like anything Star Wars makes is going to be fantastic. But yeah, I guess there's similarities. I am very interested to see what would happen once the show starts airing, because Game of Thrones, it's such a weird effect that like these books, these fantasy books, these sci-fi shows and comic books are being created into these primetime shows, if you want to call it that, and they're like doing well. Mm-hmm. It's weird, and they're kind of their own thing, but they're true to the source material depending who you talk to. It'll be interesting if the Game of Thrones thing happens for Star Wars, because it's be like, did you watch Star Wars last night? I'm like, what? Like I've never thought I'd hear somebody say that.
And Game of Thrones, though, is that kind of show, though. Would you expect this many people of this many demographics to like Game of Thrones?
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, it's like, there was always an athlete and a nerd. But Game of Thrones is like, everybody in.
I mean, you do have to remember it's on HBO. And, like, even though we're in Canada, not everyone has HBO like they do in the States. Like, for the last 10... Maybe forever. I don't know. I haven't had HBO all my life, but like Sundays on HBO is the day to watch all the new like shows like that. Like, I'm just trying to remember. Like Game of Thrones is always Sunday. Veep, Silicon Valley,
Entourage, Sopranos.
Yeah, exactly. They all came out on Sundays, right?
That's my era.
Okay. So I didn't watch. Well, no, that's not true. I watched Entourage later on. Oh, God, what a piece of garbage.
Actually, season 2 to 3.3.
Oh, yeah. No, fantastic. There is good stuff. But you watch the whole thing.
And they made Medellin and the whole thing went.
When they start talking about Aquaman, it just goes to hell. So, like, that's the thing. It's like people will watch, there are shows that are up on Sundays that aren't, Ballers is in season 3, but not everyone's talking about that show. But it's on for 3 seasons, so that's got to say something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's HBO's figured out something. It's like, as long as you make it unique, or if it's engaging enough that it's so different, like you got a show like Insecure, and then you got something like Silicon Valley, which are 2 different types of shows, but they kind of fit in the same kind of mold. They're like, yes, I like this. This is what I want to watch. So I don't know. Like Game of Thrones, it's the HBO formula of like violence, nudity, and cursing, and then something weird happens,
See, but Star Wars isn't going to have nudity, cursing.
Yeah, and I'm not saying they'll all do that.
It'll be limited violence, I would say.
Yeah,
right.
True.
So, could you see it work? Like,
first of all, is it on HBO? It's just going to be a show, so it'll be on the Disney.
The Star Wars thing will be it'll be streaming, so it'll be more like Netflix style, but it's under the Disney banner, and also. It's Star Wars. Like Star Wars is Star Wars, and I think they learned that with Rogue One when they were like, we're going to make a war movie, and so you get into it, you're like, no, we're going to make a Star Wars movie. There's a difference.
That's a big deal. I keep because we're comparing to Game of Thrones, it's just like HBO on the brain. But yeah, it's going to be on streamers. That's the thing I think is it doesn't matter what it is. It's question is their streaming platform, is it going to survive? Like, I'm going to get it.
Well, look, they're starting it off. This Star Wars show will be there the day their streaming starts, I believe. I think the Monsters, Inc. TV show is going to be there. There's like they announced a whole bunch of them, and they're all there and it's going to be cheaper than Netflix. And the reason why is Bob Iger said they don't have the content of Netflix, so they're going to undercut it, which is smart because we had one, I'm not going to name it, we had one here in Canada that didn't work.
Yeah.
And it was the same price as Netflix.
Yeah.
And you can't come into the game and be like, we're going to be the same price.
Yeah.
When you don't offer what they offer. You have to base it on what you offer. There's another one in Canada. Well, Crave TV is it.
Yeah.
They were always way cheaper. I don't know how much they are now, but they were always way cheaper, right? And that survived. And also had all the HBO shows.
Yeah. I think it'll do fine. And that I agree with what Bob Iger says. They don't have enough content, but like it wouldn't take long. I mean, if they were to take everything they own, past, present, and future, and put it on there, you'd be pretty close. But then I also heard like the Marvel Netflix stuff isn't going to be yanked from Netflix.
No, because I think Netflix owns.
Do they own part of it?
Just the shows, I think. Like I think like Daredevil was made for like with Netflix.
Yeah.
So it's probably
because it does have the Netflix at the beginning.
Yeah, so it's probably like a gray area. Like
I see. Yeah.
So that'll probably stay there, but then the new one, the new whatever, they can be like, well, that's ours.
Yeah, that's ours now.
That's who knows. But
so yeah, I don't know. I think it's definitely what's the word? It's a goal they should strive for. They want the Star Wars show to be as prevalent as Game of Thrones. Like, you want to blow it out of the water because likelihood is you're going to compete with people wanting one. But it's a streaming site, so it's like, I don't know. But yeah.
But you're going to want people to join the streaming site. So I think the first image that we see from this live action show is going to be one of the greatest Star Wars images we're going to see in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be up there with... It'll probably be more impactful than the initial teaser trailer for the Force Awakens, because this is something that's not just saying Star Wars is here. This is saying you need to buy this streaming service to watch this.
See, what they need to do is hook the kids.
Oh yeah,
because it's like if you can get kids to watch it, then you're in every house to an extent.
You know what? I have nieces and a nephew, and I was talking to people with kids earlier, and a lot of kids, there's a lot that love it, but it hasn't connected yet. I don't think with a lot of the young generation.
What,
unless
Netflix? Are kids watching Netflix?
No, kids watching Star Wars.
Oh, but that's what I mean. Like it's
like the toys. I don't think are exploding like they should.
But
it'll get there.
But the Star Wars is gonna be on Disney thing, so it's like hook them with the Disney stuff and get it in the household, and then hopefully the adults watch this stuff.
Oh yeah, you think about it. If you just buy your kid Cars 3, get Frozen 2, whatever, all of a sudden that's $50. Yeah, that's 5 months. Yeah, over 5 months, and those things are probably going to be watched for Frozen I get watched forever, but they'll be watched for a couple of days. Now you have this thing for 5 months with that budget. All of a sudden you get thousands of titles.
And so like the success of Frozen, to use that as a base example, like a lot of kids like the newer one, which would be Moana. Like a lot of kids love that movie, but it's just like Frozen was huge. But Moana isn't as huge, if that makes sense.
Well, it's because I think it's because Let It Go is the biggest song ever in anything. That's the thing.
But that's what I mean. It's like kids love that, so they'll watch it over and over and over again. It's like, well, either you can buy the DVD, but who does that anymore? I mean, either people still do it, but you know what I mean? Like it's getting less and less and less.
Yeah, no, I think this site it makes a lot of sense.
So it hinges on a lot of that streaming service, but I'm pretty optimistic on the whole thing. I can't believe there's going to be a Star Wars TV show.
I've already pre-ordered it. I'm joking. All right, let's move on. We have a brief word to talk to you guys about.
A word from our sponsor, us.
Patreon. We are on Patreon. Thank you, everybody who has supported us on Patreon. So
it's awesome.
It means the world to us. Basically, just a rundown of what Patreon is. It's just supporting the Rebel Scum podcast, having us up so we can get out of this tiny space. And then, Sunday we have our Force Awakens commentary, and there's 4 of us like this doing the commentary. So we're working on getting a bigger space, better equipment so that you can actually hear Andrew when he does Flying Casuals. And but so basically for $1 you get early access to everything.
Yes.
Including our Cloning Around show.
Cloning Around.
Which is a Clone Wars show, which will start in the new year.
Sweet.
For $2 you will get all of that, plus a documentary that Andrew will be hosting about Star Wars, because he's a hoster.
He's a host.
He's the host with the most, is what I was trying to say. For $3, you will get all that. Plus, you'll have your emails and theories and whatever you want read on this show and Scavenger Scum weekly. And then for $10, you will be a Rebel Scum yourself, and you can appear on Flying Casual, on Photo No Confidence or Duel of the Fates, and we got some cool announcements coming up about those. Duel of Fates number 2 coming up on December 11th. So go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/RebelScum podcast. You can see what it's all about all over there. Brock and I will be waiting while you do that. We'll give you a minute. All right, let's move on to the meat of it all. Is Leia the puppet master for Snoke? Because this is something that I did a Flying Casual with Andrew yesterday, and I think we touched on it briefly, but not really. But people ran with it in the ran with it, and people have been emailing us about it. And I'm looking at these emails and I'm getting direct messages on social media stuff saying, I think Leia is the villain, and Leia is actually Snoke. And a lot of them are saying, I don't think she's physically Snoke, but there is something that she uses to control Snoke or something like that. Like, if Snoke is that Wizard of Oz thing that we all thought that he was, she is the wizard.
I find that very interesting. I think we touched on it once that, perhaps the end of parts of Last Jedi is Snoke doing something to Leia. That's how we kind of write her out of the trilogy because of Carrie Fisher's passing. And that's a way to have Kylo switch sides because he's like, how dare you? But I like that because if you've read Bloodline, she's really dissatisfied with the New Rebellion, the New Republic, because it's just basically going back to what it was. And inevitably, it's true because it's as we kind of know that that's where the First Order kind of is spawned from. that's a very generic description of what happens. What would be? It makes sense in my head if it's like something because of Han passing away and she kind of goes crazy, but then like Snoke is already present. So like, what would be her motive for doing something like that? Besides, I guess that dissatisfaction with the New Republic is easy, but like that just seems like to blow up Hosnian Prime like they do in Force Awakens seems like, wow, that's a bold move.
Yeah, I don't think she would go that far. The other thing with Bloodline is the First Order's rising in Bloodline, like it's making its mark in Bloodline. But she's not a part of that. I can't remember. I read it so long ago, but the one.
But isn't that the end? Like the one that's trying to like the one senator. Yeah, it's just like oust like Leia. Isn't there like reference? I mean, I know they go to that base and they have all that hidden like imperial like the like they have weapons and ships and stuff like that. But isn't it mentioned like, oh, this is like the First Order? I don't think Snoke's mentioned it, is it?
There's something in there that she reads about the First Order.
Yeah.
So I find it a little far-fetched. Like, I feel like, you're not going to make... There's no way Luke is a villain, I would say. Unless, of course, he's misunderstood. But, like, Leia, there's a gray area with Leia that you could make her the villain. And obviously, the way they're dressing her, they want her to resemble Vader's look, if you look at the new wardrobe that we want. But is that Luke in Return of the Jedi, where they're just playing with us? They're like, hey, this is someone who's kind of tempted right now. But the other thing, so I gotta say, is Poe, and you're gonna do a flying casual with Andrew on this. You don't know that yet.
Oh, surprise!
But Poe on the poster and on, I believe, the Korean poster and on something else, he has been on the villainous side of all of that marketing. And who is he close with? Leia. Yeah, he's close with Leia.
I mean, it's possible because we don't know what's happened between her and Han. And, like maybe the disintegration of her family has pushed her over the edge. I don't know. You don't know what happens. Like, why is Luke gone? Why are Han and Leia separated to the point that they're like, oh, hi.
But we know that Snoke has been there by Kylo's side since he was in the womb. Right. And yeah, so that's I mean. That's
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, this is just spitball. Yeah, like there's that going on. Like, who else would be there? She sends him off with Luke, and then Luke, it's time for the Jedi to end. Yeah, but that could be because Leia was not only Kylo. Maybe because there's a TV spot, I haven't seen it, but it's called "Kylo Failed You," and I think have you seen that spot?
I'm not sure. I can't remember what all of them are called.
I'm taking a guess here. Where Rey says to Luke, "Kylo failed you. I won't," is what I'm guessing is said in there. And what if Kylo's not the one that Luke is referring to as failing? What if it's Leia? What if Leia is the big failure in his life and she fell to the dark side? Yeah. I mean, and then she is what Kaz wanted in Return of the Jedi, where Luke puts on the helmet and says, "Now I'm Vader." What if she is Vader and Snoke is the Vader? And I don't know what Snoke is or anything, but she is controlling Snoke, because also when Han talks with Leia, she's quick to say it was Snoke. Snoke corrupted her son. She was quick to throw his, because that's the first time we hear his name out. Yeah. Like she's just like, it's Snoke, and she throws it under the bus. So I'm not gonna put money on this. But no, it's a thing.
Would that be like? Do you think that would be a disrespect to Leia's character, especially? Because now it's like, not that we didn't prior to this, but with Carrie Fisher's passing, it's like Leia has become this sort of like, not just respected, but like it's almost like we've evangelized her. She's like a saint, right? That it's like you can't do ill with Leia. Like, she's the princess and and rightfully so, because the character of Leia was like such a huge character for women in movies going forward as the strong female character. So does that degrade that idea if we're like, she was a villain, or she gave up on being good and went like, it'd be a hell of a twist, but
that's where my head would go. I would feel that. But at the same time, if you have a son who goes away with Luke Skywalker, you have no son, then you kind of get estranged with your husband. Yeah. And then you see this the new regime's taking over and they're not doing the job they should do. And you have these force powers that you don't quite understand and you never really knew. And then you find out that your father was actually Darth Vader and your adopted father was blown up and he left you this, remember that thing that she gets left? Like, and these things start building. And then all of a sudden you just kind of snap and you're like, I know how to make things right. The way to make things right is I'm going to infiltrate this and I'm going to be here and I'm going to pit both sides exactly what Palpatine did. Exactly what Palpatine did. You pit them against each other and then you rise up from the middle because you're the only one that can stop it. And then all of a sudden your vision is there. So I think I totally say yes. You can't ruin Leia. But you can do that to Leia. And I think that makes her very, very intriguing. The problem is Carrie Fisher now has passed away. Yeah. If she approved to this, then what's the problem? There's no problem.
Yeah, but we'll never take it that way.
Yeah, and I mean, I would totally be fine with it because, see, Luke, I would never get behind. But Leia, we know she's loyal. But like I just said, if all these things start piling up, she's got a lot of history with politics in her.
Yeah,
and politicians are kind of dicks. So she, you know what I mean? She could figure it out and do it. And that's where I would buy it. But I mean,
and you could argue if her ego were to just suddenly grow 5 sizes too big, he's like, well, look at all the things we did by ourselves. It's like, I'm kind of untouchable. I walked into Jabba the Hutt's palace and walked out the Hutt's lair, or I did all these things and I showed no fear, which again, I say that, and then everyone's like, how dare you? She's just trying, she fights for what she believes in, and that's true. So that would be crazy. But again, I
think it's far-fetched, but I mean, it's a twist. It's kind of like, I would honestly argue this is up there with Darth Jar Jar in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Where this is something you don't see coming.
Yeah.
Or maybe in 20 years, people will be like, Leia was meant to be Snoke.
With the state of our gender equality and just redefining our social landscape, it's making a woman. I think the response is it would make a female character look bad, which is not something we want to do right now. And especially with Kathleen Kennedy being in charge of all those things and making a point that we're making really good female characters.
Yeah, but Snoke, they didn't know if they were going to make him male or female at the very beginning.
Right.
I don't know. But I don't think, I would disagree with that point because a female villain, you just saw Thor Ragnarok. Did you see it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. But there's a female villain.
Yeah, but she's a villain from the get-go.
Yeah, but isn't it more intriguing if a hero falls? I don't here's the thing.
Well, in the same example of Thor Ragnarok, you have Valkyrie, who is a Asgardian that they lost against the female villain Hela, and then because they lost, they left Asgard, and it's just a simplification to the point that she's just she gives up, but then meets Thor and comes back. So again, there you go. It's she needed a man in her life.
But why?
But they do. What I'm saying is they do kind of have that idea of redemption, which you're kind of, so it would be the reverse.
But why is it okay for us to watch 3 movies about Anakin's fall to the dark side, but when Leia's falling to the dark side, it's a problem? It's a weakening of a female.
But again, it's we know Anakin's gonna fall.
Yeah, but let's say you're starting 1, 2, 3, and you don't know. Do you know what I mean? Do you know? But so that's the only thing with that is why is it? It's kind of like the Reylo thing, where it's a guy can fall, James Bond can have 1,000,000 women, but the minute Wonder Woman kisses, what's his face,
Steve Trevor,
all of a sudden it's well, she's weak. There's it's an issue. That's an issue with everything.
I mean, it's
the way we see things.
Again, I don't like bringing the gender equality up, not because I don't support equality. It's just to be truly equal, you almost have to not notice it. You have to be that's just the way it is. Or not the bad way. Women can do whatever. That's just the way it is. It's so usual that it's become mundane that you don't even. It's that's just whatever. So it's I don't know.
I know what you're saying, and that's the way it could be perceived. I'm just saying the problem is the perception of it. Because it's not, because Palpatine, we're all Andrew Fantasia's favorite character is Palpatine.
Yeah.
And if Leia is the next Palpatine, how does that weaken her character?
I don't know.
But I just think Leia going crazy would be fun to watch now.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, I want to watch crazy Leia.
It'd be great.
But I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we're gonna find out that Snoke is actually Uncle Owen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Why not?
He's a skeleton. He's burnt out.
Well, no, and he's trying to...
And then he rebuilt himself.
He's trying to rebuild. Exactly. That's what's going on. All right, let's move on to the next one. This was just brought up today to me, so it's not... We don't have a graphic or anything for it. But Austin Schur, one of our patrons, huge supporter of the show. Shout out, Austin. Thank you so much. He wrote me, and he says, do you think that Luke learned how to create life just like Sheev was telling Anakin? I can imagine a little Ben Solo getting very jealous if he found out his master created life just like Anakin Skywalker. That is a cool thought.
I'm interested in the first part.
Creating life?
But the part about Kylo being jealous, I'm like, because I just feel like, hey, look, I created life. You're like, what? That's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, like, no, but I get it. I get what he's trying to like.
But he also seems like that kind of guy. He'd be like,
oh yeah,
why are you creating life? Am I not good enough?
But like, I get what he's saying. Like, Kylo loves his grandfather. He wants to become his grandfather. But like, Vader didn't really do that. It was more Palpatine talking about it. Correct?
Yeah.
So it's just like it doesn't really fit. But more important, so like, let's go back to the part like Luke is creating life. That's interesting.
Yeah,
because that would quickly make somebody's perception of the galaxy, reality, whatever, time, totally change. Which would explain why we're getting a Luke that's like, the Force has to, or the Jedi have to come to an end because he sees bigger things. It's like, well, I've created life, and fighting each other isn't important because we can do this. We can do this, and we can make a great utopia. Stop it. Stop blowing things up. No Sith, no Jedi. There's no lines. We're just like, that would be interesting. Maybe he hasn't done it yet, but he's found like, I feel like that's in like an Indiana Jones movie, like, the Genesis formula or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, that would be kind of cool. I think that's a possibility of what Luke is going through right now. Maybe not that magnificent, but like he's seen a new truth that no one really can comprehend.
Yeah, I'd be down with that. That would really would mess you up in a lot of ways. I don't know if Lucasfilm would go with he's creating life because it feels like they would stay away from something like that.
Yeah.
But also Rian Johnson, who knows what he's doing in this movie? Yeah, I mean, if Luke was able to create life or stop someone from dying, that would be great. What if we found out that like Leia died, and Luke kind of saved her from dying?
Oh, interesting.
And that's what drives her to become Snoke.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like, what if like something happened and he stopped it, and then.
It's what you just said reminds me of two different things. Luke being like a new level of enlightenment is like in like Lord of the Rings, Gandalf dies and comes back as Gandalf the White, and he's like, I understand everything now. But then they'll bring Leia back to life. I'm like, that's Pet Sematary, where it's just like, well, I brought her back to life. That's great. It's like, no, it's not. She's a murdering person.
I don't think he brought anyone back to life, but it really, I like this thought because it's been brought up that midi-chlorians can be manipulated in a way to create life and save people from dying. And Luke has not been able to do any of that, as far as we know, up until this moment. What if he eventually learned how to do that?
And then it finally explains how Anakin was born,
Yeah.
Like, how did Shmi get pregnant? Well, let me tell you about the birds and the bees.
I'm really curious. Like, he could have created Rey. Because Rey's a Skywalker. I'm
not even going to.
I want Rey to be a Skywalker because I want to sit next to you in the theater.
I love that radio silence.
I want her to be a Skywalker because I want to sit in the theater. Before, it says Lucasfilm, a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, 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 far away. They're changing it a little. Silence. camera pans down. There's no opening crawl yet. We're like, what's going? This is weird. And then all of a sudden we see Rey extend the lightsaber. Luke takes it and he goes, "Thanks, daughter."
Oh, and then all you hear is me like, "What?"
You see Brock there. I'm like, "Brock, you're my ride.
I'll be in the car."
And then everybody immediately goes on Instagram, looks at your story. No.
Outrageous. Just end our podcast. It just
Over.
I'm like, we're done. We are done. No, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, he could have created Rey though.
Yeah, no,
Accidentally maybe.
I could accept that over anything else. Like, I think her family just has to be somebody else. But like, as we know, Daisy Ridley's like, oh, it's very obvious. I'm like, is it?
Yeah, seriously. Is
it?
Speaking of Daisy Ridley, she says that this might be the end of her as Rey after episode 9.
That's crazy. That's huge news. Like, wow. Which some people be like, that's not surprising because Rian Johnson's going to write a whole new trilogy. But like, we don't know for a fact that like characters from this current trilogy isn't going to be in the next trilogy.
No, I know. I think they said that it's going to be completely separate.
Completely separate.
And it's going to focus on a lore that has not been explored in Star Wars yet.
That is interesting.
Yeah. But Kathleen Kennedy also said that they have things planned forever with Rey, Finn, and Poe. Mm. And now she's like, hey, I signed on for 3, and if my story's over, I think I'm done.
Because that just seems like a bold move, which is great. I have no problem with bold moves. But you've established these characters, and now, I think I said it at the beginning of our podcast, like, at some point, they want to get rid of the old cast and bring in the new cast. Which is not a slam against anyone. It's just, well, people don't want to act the same. Obviously, in perfect example, Daisy Ridley's like, well, I don't know if I want to be in more than 3 of these movies. Which I'll be interested to see if her career doesn't take off after Star Wars. It's like, well, maybe I'll come back to Star Wars.
Money talks.
Oh, big time. That's not a slam. I get it. Like, you don't. Like, I just recently changed my job because I don't want to work the same job every day. Or, like, you want to improve. So it's like Star Wars might never get you past something. Or, it's sort of like how superhero movies don't win a lot of awards outside. Like, when unless you're Heath Ledger and you're the Joker. Like, I don't think, what's his face? Robert Downey Jr. has been nominated for anything. I could be wrong.
Alec Guinness was nominated for New Hope. Mm-hmm. Gandalf was nominated for Gandalf.
Gandalf.
The Fellowship of the Rings.
But yeah.
So it happens, but you got to be
old. It does happen,
but
it's very rare.
You have to be old. Mark Hamill.
Yeah, exactly. So it's sort of like, you don't want to be typecast. It happens all the time. So you want to do other things. But yeah, it does seem bold. Like, if you're going to try something new, make it one movie. But to have it like, oh, it's going to be this trilogy, I'm like,
yeah, you know what? It would be kind of cool if Rian Johnson does his trilogy, and then in between we get like the Finn movie.
Yeah.
I'd be down with that. I mean,
yeah, why not?
I don't know when. See, they're like, it's going to be like Marvel. And now Marvel's like, we're going to be different. So I'm just curious to see when it's going to be. Like, when is it not going to matter? Like, Han Solo, when are we going to get the Han Solo movie, but instead of it being Han Solo, it's Yushan Bushan. Like, we don't know who that is, but we're going to see it because it's Star Wars' Yushan Bushan, and he's a pod racer scoundrel. You know what I mean? Like, when is that going to come? Because that's really, for me, the next step. Because I was thinking about Rogue One the other day. We're going to do a Rogue One. I think next week we're going to talk a lot about Rogue One because it's been 1 year.
It's been,
but they're like, we're gonna take a chance, and then when you watch, I love Rogue One,
yeah,
but it felt like they didn't take the chance because they're like, reel it in just a little bit because we're Star Wars. This is what works. When are they going to give us? And should they give us something completely different? And I would argue right now, sitting here as I talk about it, no. Because the reason we're doing this, and the reason you guys are watching and listening to this, is because we love Star Wars.
Yeah.
If we wanted to talk about something else, we would have a 310 to Yuma podcast, but we don't. We have a Rebel.
What would our 310 to Yuma be called?
I don't know.
Welcome to Yuma.
You know what I mean? Like, this is why we're talking about it, because it's Star Wars, not because it's something else. So I'm so conflicted on life. But I got a cool Stormtrooper shirt where he's walking his dewback.
And I have your face.
That's from a wedding. actually.
Is that what the picture? I was trying to remember what this is from.
I'm actually wearing a
because like we spend so much time together that like whatever you post on Instagram is like, oh, that's from that. I know that is.
Yeah. It's all right. Let's move on. This show is getting long in the tooth. I love porgs. Chewy swats a porg. I think that's enough. I think we covered that one. That clip's pretty awesome though.
Yeah, that was great and
fantastic.
It like reveals so much because you get the sense that like Chewie probably doesn't like the porgs or like they're very annoying or very irritating.
I've been thinking they're going to be like C-3PO to him in Empire Strikes Back, where he's like he has these things around him. He can't stand them, but he's got such a heart of gold that he's going to look after it because he feels like he has to, and I think it's going to be.
And that porg is not supposed to be there. He's like, get out of here.
Anybody that hates porgs, you're wrong.
It's such a like Muppet thing too, where it's like
so
you knock someone out of the way.
All right, never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds.
Today's odds are brought to us by Google blocking our views.
Stop it, Google.
I love you. All right, here we go. First off, the odds of Rey being Anakin Skywalker's sister.
What?
Sister.
How does that work?
Someone wrote somewhere. I can't remember who or when. And I read it, and I tried to. They said there was a video online where George Lucas said something about. This is the weirdest thing about Anakin having a twin sister. And I couldn't find this video, and I could not find this comment after I read it. And I was like, that is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. So, or maybe it wasn't twin sister, maybe it was just twin. Anyway,
right.
So I was like, well, that's a good odd for today.
Yeah.
0%.
Yep, 0%. What?
You know, it'd be funny if it starts with like, Rey, you are my aunt.
That's
how it starts. It's like, what?
Like, the only way that sentence makes sense is like, well, you know, retcon idea was like Anakin, and it was gonna be they're gonna name that person he or she Rey. I'm like, oh, okay. So they thought up this new character, and they're like, well, we'll just take this from that. Yeah, that's the only way that makes sense. But
Shmi could have had a daughter.
Shmi.
What about odds of Battlefront Resurrection DLC? The DLC that's coming out on December 13th. Revealing a major Last Jedi spoiler. The Lucasfilm Story Group member who's been working heavily on Battlefront 2 has said, if you want to go into The Last Jedi clean, do not play Resurrection. Ooh. Now, the reason this is an odd, even though he said that, is obviously be like, well, that's 100%. And I'm saying, is it a major spoiler? Like, is it something where you're like, holy cracker jacks, Rey is Iden and Del's daughter, or is it like, well, it turns out on the Battle of Crate, Finn was actually, like that's what I mean. Like, is it going to be something major, or is it like Finn's shoes? We find out what shoes he's wearing.
Yeah, I'm going to be optimistic because I think that would be so awesome if that were the truth. So I'm going to go 80%.
I'm going to go 79. Rob and I might play it on the 13th. Yeah. I'm nervous, though, because I don't want anything ruined, but I also want to be like...
I think the statement of something big is subjective, because you're like, that might be big for some people, but other people, like us who do analyze it.
He said clean, though, if you want to go in clean. So there's something in there that will propel The Last Jedi forward in some way. Yeah. Last one, odds of Rob defeating Josh and remaining undefeated in Duel of the Fates airs December 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern on this channel.
That's 0%. Because I have zero faith in Darth Ward. He barely won last time.
He won because Andrew got cocky.
He got two. He won simply from Andrew's hubris. Yeah. That's the only. I'm putting a special word for cocky.
It's so funny. When we did the commentary airs on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, like I said, but when we did that, after we left, Rob sent me a text. He goes, I think I'm going to be watching The Force Awakens quite a bit before the trivia, because it's all Force Awakens questions. So it should be fun. Josh is pumped up.
Rob.
We're gonna be hosting it. Aaron will be asking the questions.
Yeah,
and there might be a special guest. I'm not gonna say. So anyway,
I'm
going to go full Brock and stay neutral between both of them.
Oh wow!
We're going to skip What's Up Star Wars. They just on the Star Wars show today they announced some alien from Canto Bight. Looks pretty cool. I can't remember his name right now, but check him out. Check out the Star Wars show. You probably already did anyway. Brock.
This is Hollow News. Let's see what's in the news today. It might be last week's. I don't know. And let's see what is up. Star Wars. Why is my computer not turning on? So the first story is Star Wars Thrawn Alliances. The cover has come out, and as we can see, if you're watching the video, you can see Vader's in the background. So it's gonna hover a lot around It's the plot is going to be Thrawn and Vader going on a special mission for the Empire. And what will happen? Who knows? But there's going to be a body count for sure, because we have one of the strongest warriors, if you want to call him a warrior, of the Empire, and one of the greatest strategists in the same ship, mission, what have you. A secret mission for the Empire and join forces with Vader himself. We will see it in summer 2018, so of course the release date is sort of still up in the air, but like expect it for your summer reading list. It should be sweet.
I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too after finishing the first one. J.J. Abrams did the unthinkable? No. He was at it was the night of Too Many Stars, I believe, raising money for different charities. And he auctioned off, I don't think it was the entire plot to episode 9, but a bit of the plot. So someone paid $10,000 to have J.J. Abrams whisper something to him in his ear on live TV, apparently.
Kylo dies. Kylo lives.
R2 is the villain.
Have you seen Super 8?
It's great. It's great. It's just a homage to ET. It's fantastic. Anyways, so that happened. That was great. $10,000. The name of the person who bid that is named Carlos Danger. That's crazy. Nothing was able to. He whispered into this gentleman's ear, and nothing was able to be heard because Gilbert Gottfried and Rob Corddry came out and started explaining other things, so he couldn't hear anything. Rob Corddry said the synopsis of Hot Tub Time Machine number 3, and Gilbert Gottfried just cursed.
He just quoted Aladdin. Iago. That's my.
So yeah, that's really cool. I like that they raise money, and this gentleman that knows this information about episode 9 is like he signed a million things, so he can't reveal anything. But that's really cool. And
so look for him on Reddit.
Yeah, it's Fatty Fan Theories. Rian Johnson is talking about his new writing gig / directing gig for the new trilogy. We mentioned it before. The new trilogy will be separate from the episodic Skywalker saga and will introduce new characters from a corner of the galaxy that Star Wars lore has never before explored. He announced this while he was at a fan festival of some sort in Mexico. And he also said, I'm just in the very beginning of starting to come up with what the new trilogy is going to be. So that's cool. I take that as like anything could happen, but I don't find it. It's fun because it's like it's happening. He's doing things, but even though he says the Skywalker trilogy has come to an end, that's fine. But we can still have a lot of the same characters. I think it's very ambiguous. We have no information about anything yet, so.
I think it's going to take place in the world of pod racing, and it's going to follow Ben Quadinaros on his different adventures.
That'd be fantastic.
That's all we need.
And then finally, Daisy Ridley built a Millennium Falcon Lego thingy-majiggy and then was interviewed. So there's a video. If you just looked up, shoot, I should have written it down.
What room is she in? Like, could they not put her in a nicer room?
In the room that Andrew shot his documentary.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we're going to put you in an interrogation room. Here's a Millennium Falcon 800-piece Lego.
A white backdrop.
Yeah. Like, come on. Everybody involved in this has money.
I think it was for, what magazine was it? Elle?
It was for Boring Walls magazine.
So she builds it and she gets asked questions. She doesn't really reveal a ton about Last Jedi, but apparently if she could choose her lightsaber, it would be pink and sparkly.
Which says a lot. I think the sparkliness, like Kylo has a sparkly one, so she's not stable. And
her father still prefers Star Trek, and apparently she can do a really good John Boyega imitation. She does not do it.
What? I think her father prefers Star Trek. He's like, Dad, what did you think of the movie? I like the Star Trek.
I like the Star Trek.
I like Star Trek much better.
In it better.
Man, anyway. you have no William Shatners.
William Shatners. So that has been the Hollow News, and that's all the news you need to know in the need of the knowing of the knowledge.
Yay, let's move on to books and comics. And Saturday, December 2nd, Andrew Fantasia will be reviewing Leia and Bloodline on the channel, so check that out.
Sweet.
You're up.
I'm up. First things first, I'm the realist.
Oh my God.
Out this week is Star Wars number 39, where it continues the story of our friends on Jedha. Jedha is now a crazy wasteland where you can barely live, but there's still people living there. But Leia, Luke, and Han, and I believe Chewbacca's there somewhere, are there because they want to work with the remaining cell of, what do they call it? Partisans of Saw Gerrera's group, because they know that now that the Death Star, now that it's canon that the Death Star was fueled by kyber crystals, and at this point the Death Star has been blown up and they're rebuilding into it, so the Empire is going to look for more kyber crystals. Where are they going to go? Jedha, because guess what? Saw Gerrera was keeping a whole bunch of kyber crystals, stockpiled because he knew what they were trying to do. So the Empire is back and they're trying to find stuff, and the rebels are trying to stop that by speaking with the partisans. It's really cool. As you can see, it's not the two tubes that we assume. It's his brother.
Ensign two tubes?
Ensign? Yeah.
What's his name? It is E something. I got this.
No, it was something else. No, he says it a million times.
It's Ensign. What up, Star Wars?
No, it's Benthic.
I was close.
Anyways, it's a very good. It's amazing. The art is amazing as well because it's like it looks like them, like Han, especially Harrison Ford's look in this book is awesome. Very cool. And there's a new villain, Imperial soldier, that's dealing with what is like the politician for Jedha, and they're kind of coercing together, and it's very interesting. I unfortunately still need to read the one prior to it. I will get up because since we've been so behind, but it is very cool. So pick it up if you want to read something that's going with the movies. This is the book. And at the same note, Poe Dameron, bam! If you cannot wait for Last Jedi to come out, I suggest you also read Poe Dameron, because now we're dealing with Lars Santeca.
Oh!
Specifically,
it's like they timed it.
Lars Santeca goes to Neimoidia, where the Neimoidians are from the prequels. He's looking for, it's called the Kavarith Cube, which has to do with time when the Force was like the dark side and the light side tend to work together, but the Neimoidians are kind of like, they're bankers basically, so everything's in, they're like excuse me, they're like the goblins in Harry Potter where they have all the vaults and stuff, and that's where you store all your stuff on Neimoidia. So he breaks in to try to get him, and so they capture him, and so Leia's like, well, he's resurfaced, he's in jail on Neimoidia, so we're gonna go do something. So you think Poe is going to be sent immediately, but he's not. It turns out Leia goes there first because she's going to store, get this, Padme's dresses. Because she has all of his, it's like the her Naboo dresses. And what? So it's cool. And then it turns out there's a coup or something like that, and she has a gun out. So it's like, oh, I haven't done this in a while. So where she now knows that Lars Santeca is being captured, so Poe is on his way in, so that'll be next issue, but it's very cool. Also, they did some of the side stories where Care, one of the Black Squadron pilots, who we see in Force Awakens, who's, I forget her name, but she's also on Iron Fist and Game of Thrones, is the Asian pilot, who were like, hey, is that the one from the Last Jedi? But it's not. The story going with her is that she keeps blowing up her astromech droids because she keeps getting hit. So none of the astromech droids will join her, but now they will. So because she's trying to program her ship so she doesn't need an astromech droid, and then it blows up, and then BB-8's like, oh, you need a friend. So there's a new astromech on the scene, so I'm sure we'll see a cool storyline with them. And then also Snap has been dumped by his girlfriend.
No!
And he is super bummed. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Fantastic reads, fantastic art. If you're reading anything Star Wars, it has to be these two. Star Wars and Poe Dameron.
I want to get my hands on that Two Tubes one. Bath the Tank 2 tubes, and the Son of Dathomir comes out on Tuesday.
Correct.
No, wait, now. Today, yesterday. I don't know. The 28th. When was that?
It would be Wednesday, so yesterday.
Yesterday. Came out yesterday. Well, I should get on that. All right, let's wrap this up with
Top 5. I don't have it ready. Top 5. What you gonna do? Top 5.
I'll go first. Today's top 5 awful Snoke theories. Let's go. Top 5 Snoke theories. Your Snoke theory sucks.
Yeah. Boo. We did this before.
Really
I am going to probably repeat what I said prior.
Do you remember what you said before?
Not really.
My number 5, Luke is Snoke. He's not. What's yours?
Leia is Snoke. I just heard it like 20 minutes ago, and I think it's dumb.
My number 4, Snoke is Palpatine. He's not. Brock?
Snoke has found a abandoned factory of clones, and he's done something with it. That was my theory, like a year ago.
Snoke is Boba Fett. Why? Why?
Why?
I don't
This is
understand.
number 3.
I don't understand.
I think it's the Snoke is Jango Fett. No, Snoke is Palpatine. Is probably a theory somewhere.
It is. I just said it.
Yay!
Thanks for listening.
You're welcome.
My number 2, Snoke is Mace Windu.
Oh, interesting.
It's very intriguing. But why would you get Andy Serkis to play Samuel L. Jackson? As I choke.
My number 2 is I just had what was it? Snoke is Plagueis.
Ooh.
Just because my number 1 is Snoke is Mace Windu, because I was like, yeah, okay.
My number 1 is Snoke is Maz Kanata. You can watch that video right here on the Rebels.
Oh yeah,
that Fan
one.
Theories
Good
video.
Lord.
That has our most views on the channel. That was way back. Don't blame either one of us. We did not have anything to do with
That seemed like so long ago.
It was
too.
over a year ago.
It's like how we've evolved as podcasters.
That actually got us our first 500 subscribers. So
yeah,
it's kind of crazy. I don't know what happened, but thanks, guys. So this was episode 70. Next week, of course, will be episode 71.
And then 72.
And then The Last Jedi. So The Last Jedi, like we said, episode 72 will be right before The Last Jedi. And then we will do a review of The Last Jedi immediately following that motion picture. I hope we like it.
Can the next 29 episodes of our show be The Road to 100?
Yeah, we could definitely.
The Road to 100 in half a year.
We could definitely do that. Thanks a lot, guys, for sticking with us for this last hour. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you. Like I said, starting Friday, there will be a video every single day on this channel. So click that bell icon, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We really appreciate it. But yeah, stay tuned. We got it's a lot of fun stuff. It's all different. Everything on the channel is going to be very Monday. I think Monday Andrew interviewed somebody for Flying Casual.
Cool.
And I think it's one of my favorite videos.
Sweet.
I mean, I hate Andrew.
Yeah, me too. Oh my god. Blah, 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 I'm Andrew. Blah.
But no, it's actually
right.
But there's a lot of fun stuff coming. So thanks a lot, guys. Brock, where can everybody find you at?
Instagram and Twitter at BFSmink. That's me.
Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Petsafina. And also, you can follow me, be my friend or whatever on PlayStation 4. Petsafina is my name there, where you can kick my butt at Battlefront. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. And may the force of others be with you.
Always Coca-Cola.
All the way.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.